Pod.
Rugby Pod.
It's pretty hot out there at the moment. A lot of talk about the heat. A lot of talk about the sweat.
Yeah.
Boys love to sweat. You love to get into the pre-season vibe. You know, if we look at some of the pre-season stories that have cropped up over the years, I remember the South Africans before the 2003 World Cup was a bit weird. They all got naked and hugged in the circle.
Oh, I heard that. Neil de Kock told me about that.
Yeah.
All true.
All true.
Very
All true,
good.
he said, yeah.
And a good
yeah.
name for it, isn't it? Neil de Kock, I imagine. Yeah.
So what did he tell you?
He basically said exactly that. He said they were rolling around in the freezing cold sea, start bollock naked, and there's a few little mushrooms hanging about. That
Was this Peter de Villiers when he was in charge? It's probably one of his quotes.
It wasn't Peter de Villiers, was it? I can't think of
03.
it.
He was 03. No, he was after that. He was 07, Peter de Villiers in France. I think.
Yeah, it was the 03, definitely.
Oh, wow,
the 03.
okay.
Camp Steel, wasn't it? Camp Steel.
Sounds like a night out up
Camp
in
Stillwater.
Magaluf or something.
Yeah. It's not quite dwarf tossing in New Zealand, though, is it?
Island Boys did that, didn't they?
They got away with it then.
They got
They
it.
did.
Yeah.
They did. Well, no, they just didn't have any royalty with them. That's the thing.
Did you boys get up to? I mean, pre-season. How was that? How is that for you guys? And anything strange like the
Yeah.
South African situation ever come up with you guys?
Funny you say that, and I'll try and shorten the story because I don't. Goody, how many pre-seasons have you done?
I was present for 18.
Present, yeah, calf strain. So funny enough, and I'll try and whiz through that. You might have heard
Take
this
your time.
before.
Go on then.
Take your time.
So World Cup
Is this the- oh, here we go.
2015.
I
Here
haven't
we
heard
go.
Did you go to a World Cup? Did you?
Burn the old,
How are
burn the
your
old
feet?
mucker. No, I didn't go. So basically, we had a toughen up old school camp. We were told to turn up at a 5-star hotel in Edinburgh. I was thinking, well, this ain't toughen up. We've then got on a minibus, gone to Edinburgh Airport. We've boarded a Ryanair flight to Barcelona.
Oh, you're really toughening it up
That was
now.
it, return.
Here we go.
That was it.
No leg room, nothing.
Stag do.
Yeah, stag do. Here we go. Vern, you are a legend. No, you're not. So we've gone to Ryanair and we've gone to Barcelona. None of us are allowed leg room. Me and Richie Gray, 6'20", literally folded up in a seat. We get off the plane in Barcelona, and yellow school buses pick us up, and they take us for hours upon end. We cross the border into France, cha-ching. And as we get through, we carry on going. We get dropped off at a point, 4 or 5 hours. All we can see is loads of mountains. There's no water. We're like, where's the water? Well, you should have brought your own. We're trying to toughen up. So the story goes like this. So whatever we were wearing, we were told we had to walk for about 6 hours, 7 hours up to a checkpoint up the mountain. Okay, so picture this. And the whole time Vern says, lads, before you go, this is about toughening bloody up. Let's see who wants it. That sounded a bit...
So where was Vern from again?
Yeah, exactly. Was that Australia? That was Chinese.
Yeah,
So as we go, we get dropped off at a checkpoint. I'm funny enough. I'm with Dr. James Robson, the Lions legend, and Stuart Hogg, who thinks he's a Lions legend. Yeah. And we're wearing the stuff that we've woke up in the morning. So I've got Birkenstock flip-flops, pair of shorts, Scotland top. Okay, Stuart Hogg's wearing Havana flip-flops, shorts, and he's carrying one of your favourites, a Louis Vuitton bag.
That's
a Louis Vuitton bag.
Mate,
Yeah,
I'm,
you got one.
Aspinall.
Aspinall. I've got an Aspinall. Yeah,
Where did the
Aspinall,
stigmas
shout out to
go?
Aspinall. So anyway, we're walking 6 hours up to this mountain, okay? And as we get about 4 or 5 hours, obviously the feet are getting sore, we're walking over rocky terrain. We get to the checkpoint. And what we find at this checkpoint is that we've actually got another 4 hours to go. So we keep walking for 4 hours. I'm ended up this time having to carry all Stuart Hogg's gear and the Dr. James Robson, who's borderline 60 years old now. So I've got the defibrillator, I've got my bag, I've got the Louis Vuitton bag.
Lewis.
And then we're walking up, and it's probably about 9 o'clock now, so it's getting pretty cold. And
Have you had any water at this point?
yeah, we have had water.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had water at this point. And then we actually get to the top where we're staying. We didn't know we were staying out there. There's a campfire, but there's cages with rabbits in. They're literally bunny rabbits. And then these army guys come out, and by the time everyone's actually got to the camp, some turn up a little bit later, some are there before, and we're all sat round. And Vern says, and I swear to God, he's sat there in full outdoor hunter gear, big jumper, walking boots. He's got a knife, and he's like, "Right, lads, we've got 4 rabbits. We're cooking this for dinner. Who doesn't want to kill the rabbits?" Like that. So Richie Gray puts his hand up, of course. You pussy, Richie. Ross Ford, Stuart Hogg, and someone else puts his hand. Right, you 4 are killing the rabbits. So the army guy pulls this bunny rabbit. It's not even a wild rabbit, I promise. This bunny rabbit.
Oh my God.
This said, this is how you need to kill it.
He's Russian, sorry.
He's Russian. So he's there and he's swinging this rabbit round with one hand. Next thing, he slams it on the floor. I'm not joking. The thing's eyes popped out of his head, and then he cuts his throat and he's like, right, that's how you kill it. So the other three, the boys had to go and kill them.
This has just got sentences.
Yeah, so Richie Gray is spinning this thing round. You can see he's a right fairy. He's like, Vern, I can't slam it. Vern shouts, kill it. So Richie's on the floor and he's not dead. So they're shaking like mad. There's blood everywhere and he's slamming it over the head with a stick. Anyway, needless to say, the rabbits didn't taste that succulent. They were a bit tough. So anyway, so we had the rabbits. That's all we had. That's all we had for food. So we were around the campfire. Where are we sleeping tonight?
So hold on. How many of you are there? 40?
All of us. All of us are there.
40.
Four rabbits.
Oh, no, I forgot to say. I forgot to say there was 35 baguettes. Dry
Gun bleeders.
Yeah, proper French gun bleeders.
Let's kill the rabbits.
Yeah, kill the rabbits.
La pat and pat.
Yeah, exactly.
The old French dish.
So I smashed the whole baguette and that was it. And so we were sat around the campfire and we were like, okay, so where are we sleeping? And Vern says, we're sleeping here. This is where we're sleeping. We're like, okay, sleeping bags? No sleeping bags. No tents, no warm weather kit. We're by a fire, and you've got to think. So there's 40 big rugby players sat around a campfire the size of this table.
Not
with
big,
it. I've had a baguette.
Laidlaw's not big, is
That's
it?
it, shithole's tiny.
Yeah, where's he going? So we're around here, and literally we are freezing all night long. And then, so some of the boys are really struggling with it. Anyway, we get through 4 a.m. The horns go. We're like, well, no one's asleep anyway, so you don't need to wake us up. We go down the hill, and I'm telling you now, Stuart Hogg is struggling like mad. So I'm having to carry him down the hill. And Vern's like, I'm only going to pick guys. I was about to do it in English. I'm only going to pick guys who want it and show me how tough they are. So I'm there, I'll show him how tough I am. Got Stuart Hogg on my bag, got the defibrillator, got a Louis Vuitton bag, got my flip-flops on, I'm walking down there. I'm going. I'm bloody going to the World Cup. Anyway, it turns out they picked Stuart Hogg. I don't get picked and go home, so yeah.
That sounds like hell.
Yeah.
Mate, it was I thought it was 2015. How old school could you be? And then we did altitude training the whole way.
I want Fern Cotter coaching the Lions after that story.
The problem is,
I do
if
as well.
Fern Cotter coached Lions, he wouldn't know any of the players because there weren't any Scots there, will there? They'll be completely new. 35. No, Hardy, Hoggy,
Hardy, Hoggy.
WP now. There you are. You must have had the conversation 1 a.m. You're all freezing around the campfire. Who do you eat first? That's like the age-old desert island sort of scenario.
Yeah.
Do you go for the WP Nell probably, isn't it?
Yeah,
The most.
I don't think he came. I think any of the South Africans or Kiwis didn't have to do it. It was just
They're already
the
tough
Scots
enough.
that they thought
You see where the bitterness comes
Yeah.
from.
yeah, exactly.
Very good.
And Andy, your pre-season?
Similar?
Yeah, I never did one, I don't think. My least favourite pre-season of many. I remember Saracens 2002 it'd have been 2002, 2001, 2002, something like that. We went on army barracks training camp for 4 days, and they're horrendous. We rocked up and they're like, right, this is all about team building. We'll do a bit of training, but it will be team building mainly. So we've got there, dumped the bags 5 o'clock, gone for some food at the barracks, and then 3 of the PTs, the personal trainers that were taking us for 3 or 4 days, all log carries and stuff like that, said, right, let's really get to know each other. Let's go out for a few beers, get on the smash. We'll have a good time. So all the lads are like, oh God, this will be amazing. A bit of bonding, team building, etc., etc. They're all saying that there wouldn't be too much training. It wouldn't be too tough. Fill your boots, get on the smash. So there we are in Portsmouth. Filled your boots completely. Everyone's out there. 3 PTs are with us. They look like they're hitting it hard as well. We all rock back to the army barracks. I'm going to say about 3 o'clock in the morning. Via the kebab house, obviously. I had 2.
Yeah.
So,
Couldn't choose between the lamb and chicken.
I had both. Get back to the barracks. Everyone's steaming. Gets into bed. Hour later, the alarm goes off, and all these PTs are running. We're sharing a. We did one at Leicester as well when you were there.
Yeah, I remember.
When there was 40 of us in this one room sleeping.
Yeah.
Just the smell, everything's horrible.
Yeah.
You wouldn't put your worst enemies through it. Anyway, we're all in this big army barracks where I think we're about 20 in a room on camp beds. Everyone's steaming, there's farting going on, there's snoring, it's just horrendous. These PTs run in, alarms going off, get out of bed, get your gear on, we're going for a run. And the run, they took us on this run at 4:30 in the morning, whatever, it's pitch black, horrible. And you had to carry, and this was my hardest task, you had to carry on a plastic plate a chocolate gatto. Generally now, chocolate gatto. And sorry, not a plastic, but a paper plate on a chocolate gatto. And you had to carry it in a team. And the team that won wasn't necessarily the team that finished first. You were marked on a ranking system for who came first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever it was, and whose cake was still intact.
He didn't need it.
Obviously, mine was gone the second I ate it. But
Before we left.
imagine that 4:30 in the morning, you're steaming hungover, you've got a banging headache, you've got PT shouting at you. Chocolate gatto, I was just like, but let's have it. Let's hide and have it.
And
But
how does it go down as a hangover cure? Chocolate gatto?
yeah, it's normal. It's not
Does
bad.
the job.
Did you cop any punishment for eating the chocolate ghetto?
Oh, we just said it fell off somewhere.
Denial.
So
chocolate all over your face.
And you talk about Vern saying kill the rabbits, and these great. I've got a brilliant idea. Let's go on a camp where you go out for a run at 4:30 in the morning. You have to be in, having a team bonding session. And pre-season, I don't know why coaches think of it, because you hear about the Saracens trips now. Pre-season, where'd you go? Where was the last
So
trip?
you're on it right now.
Where did we go? We went to we did Lollapalooza music festival a couple of years ago.
Yeah. The best one
I was away last year.
The best one,
Hungary.
The best one from Saracens I heard was there was in teams or something, and they all got flown to different parts of Europe, and they had a checkpoint. They'd just get to one place to meet.
Yeah.
And take a camera, enjoy it. It's team bonding, that, isn't it?
That's great.
Yeah, and they dropped boys off like all over. They had to meet in Toulon.
Somewhere in Barcelona,
So
somewhere.
some of them were in France, and then they gave them X amount of money to either get a train ticket, to rent a car.
Yeah.
And
Does that come with the salary cap? You give them money.
I was about to say, we're discovering that we're breaking something here, aren't we?
Not if it's in a brown paper bag.
we ended up
Chris Ashton in a Ferrari. Just
about 2,000 rand in a paper bag. But yeah, so they do some good
2,000
trips.
rand, that's about 20 quid.
I was about to say, it's not getting you a lot there.
Transfers at the moment. Let's have a look at those, Fred. You love a little bit of a transfer.
Let's go through. I've done a bit of research. I'm going to name a few players, jump in with any feedback, who you think's a big signing. I've named a couple which I think are going to be big. So Talupe Faletau joining Bath. I think that's a
Massive.
huge coup.
Brilliant play. You watch every time he plays, he's phenomenal.
But they've got what is Leroy Houston gone now?
He's gone. He's playing Reds.
He's gone back.
He's gone Reds. So they've got Denton at 8. They've got him.
Yeah.
Maffey, did he go as well?
Maffey's
Maffey's gone.
Maffey's gone.
Maffey's gone. But him and Charteris and you probably I've ruined your thunder there, haven't I?
No, absolutely no.
Because Charteris and Faletau, I think, are brilliant signings for Bath.
Charteris is quality now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he weren't quality before, but like the last couple of years, he's
Unbelievable.
Come on.
Him in the line out, his arms are everywhere. He just ruins people's line, doesn't he?
Because you talk about Bath and that everyone thinks they play this brilliant brand of attacking rugby. You sign 2 world-class forwards that they've got now, and they're all of a sudden, if they can sort their scrummaging issues
they've
out
got a
that
good
they had
team.
last year, they've got rid of Mike Ford as a coach.
Bye.
Enough said.
Done. Yeah, absolutely.
On the flip side, though, they've lost Ollie Devoto.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting who plays 12 now, because obviously Eastman's gone as well.
Yeah, he's
hasn't
good to fill that gap.
Devoto, that's a bad one to lose, I think. And a lot of that was down to personality with Mike Ford.
Where did he go?
He's
He's gone to Exeter,
Oh,
which is
okay,
interesting.
yeah,
Sam,
of course.
Sam Hill's there, Campagnola's there. They've got good centres.
And Campagnolo can't even start.
Can't get a game, which is amazing considering he's always the star of that Italian side.
He came on in the final.
Yeah.
It was actually very good.
We had one good season.
This year he came on well.
He beat Scotland. So.
A name like Michelle, you're not scared of him, are you?
Then in the centre again, looking at Leicester Tigers, they brought in Matt Tamua.
That's an unbelievable sign.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him playing with Freddie Burns or Owen Williams at 10. You look at that back, I won't ruin your thunder, but the rest of the back line there as well. Mate, you've got Manu outside him, and you've got JP Peterson on one wing.
And
Vayanu and Beetham, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a very different Leicester back line to what you'd
Yeah,
expect.
it's going to be coached by Major. That's an exciting team to watch next year.
Have you had any feedback about Aaron Major as a coach?
Yeah, well,
we knew him. Yeah, he did a fair bit of coaching when he was at Leicester. Basically. So we were at Leicester quite a few years ago now. And Marcelo Lafreda, who was the Argentinian coach.
I want to kick at the balls. that sounded proper.
That was nice. I felt like I was in Buenos Aires for a minute.
Now, Marcelo's the nicest bloke you can ever meet. But he'd been head of Argentinian rugby, the head coach, not head coach because he wasn't a coach, was he?
Director.
Sort of, the head guy at Argentina, and they did so well getting to the 07
they won third.
Off the kicking game.
Yeah.
It was all France. Beat France in one of the best games ever.
We'll make the Reebok. Reebok was the bomb. So anyway, he comes head coach at Leicester post 2007 World Cup, and one of the first things he did, he was head coach and backs and attack coach. Because that was what Pat Howard was, if you remember, the year before. Anyway, one of the first things he did in his first couple of days at Leicester, he pulled myself, Jordan Murphy and Aaron Major into a room and said, I've never really coached an attacking team. As Argentina had coached underneath me, he oversaw everything. Very similar to Clive Woodward with England. Clive didn't do a lot of coaching. It was a lot of the other guys underneath him. And he said, I want you guys to help me out and run what you want to run. And Aaron Major took over. And he's come from the school of the Crusaders and learning. You see Daryl Gibson now at the Tars, all that sort of knowledge that he's been brought up with, and he was doing coaching as he was injured a lot when he was playing at Leicester, so he did a lot of the coaching. He's a brilliant coach. He's gone back to New Zealand again post that, learned and come back over here, and you look at that backline next year, it's phenomenal. And to see them have a massive change of the Leicester way is always big forward pack, driving mauls, etc., etc. Richard Cockerell, stamping his feet everywhere, but a little sprinkling of Aaron Major dust, stardust,
I think
and
they had
some of the
statistically
signings.
the most offloads.
Yeah.
Not that I think that offloads will necessarily win you a premiership, but definitely the brand of rugby that he wants to play.
Yeah,
different.
He's brilliant. I think he's going to be. And speaking to Jordan Murphy, who's a good mate of mine, he's learnt a hell of a lot off him as well. So only good things coming from Leicester this year, I think.
And then looking at Northampton Saints, they've brought in, you don't see many French players coming over to the Premiership, but they've brought in Picamoles, who, I mean, it's just a machine.
Yeah, the Premiership's made for him, isn't it, really?
I question his heart sometimes.
Mate, but the thing is, like, that's the thing with a lot of these French guys, like, it's the culture, again, that they're in. I think it shows a lot about him to leave Toulouse to
and his bank account,
and his bank account, but mate, he would have been getting paid. In France,
True.
Toulon would have won a lot. I'm sure if he went to market, he would have been offered a lot of money. But I'd love to see him with a good pre-season, conditioned how we're conditioned in the Premiership. Maybe not you, but most of us.
Not so much yourself, either. Are you conditioned, are you?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, look at me in my prime.
Absolutely no chest.
But like, seeing a conditioned Picamoles playing in the Premiership, that's an exciting.
Alongside, as long as he can sort his non-Frenchness out and understand. I did it the other way, and you played in France as well. An Englishman going to France, you just have to buy into their culture. Whether you agree with stuff or not, and their laid-back attitude some days, their psychopathic attitude other days, and training was horrendous at some times, and other days you just didn't train, no one knew what was going on. You just had to buy into that culture, and players that didn't buy into the French culture didn't get on, didn't enjoy it. And he. How do you struggle in Montpellier? Lovely place to live.
Mate, it was just the same thing.
Oh, was it coaching?
Yeah, coaching, lack of physio. I just couldn't get my head around it.
Yeah, but you either buy into it, and that's what he's got to do over here. He's got to understand it. It's not the French way. You can't just shrug your shoulders and go, everything's all right. But phenomenal player, but I just question his heart.
I reckon he'll be all right.
Another player coming over, he's going to be playing close to you, Jim. Schockberger. Excited to see him?
Yeah, definitely. He went through a tough time, didn't he, with injuries and stuff like that. And I think in his personal life, I think there's some stuff going on. But he's one of the greats. I think the issue that you always have is he coming over in his prime as a back row at 33 years old? Probably not. But he's still a fantastic player. Hard man. South African, we spoke about the physicality before. He hasn't turned up yet. I think he'll be there in a few weeks' time. But again, another guy that's probably suited.
He's still playing at the Stormers, though, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so a guy that's suited to the Premiership, hard tackling, and they've probably brought him in to replace Schockberger. Be fantastic to play alongside him or watch him from the stands.
Burger for burger.
Who's talking about burgers? We got
And then looking at one of the big money transfers of the season, Curtly Beer coming over to Wasps.
He's injured, isn't he?
Yeah, he's out till November time, I think.
He's out till November. I mean, that's
you talk about the Leicester back line. No, you look at the Wasps back line as well. You've got Curtly Beer. Where's he going to play? Probably 12, I think. You've lost Piatow, the two Piatow brothers who were phenomenal.
Where's he gone?
He's gone to Ulster.
And his brother's gone back to Japan, I think.
Yeah, Ciali's gone
in the
back.
centre. They've lost someone else, Wasps, as well, haven't they?
They've lost, they've
Smith's
lost,
gone,
and Rory Jackson.
He's
gone as well.
He didn't play too much.
No, he had a few injuries, but they've got Jimmy Gopperth, obviously.
But you look at that back line, who's going to play Sips? Who's going to play at 10, Sips or Jimmy?
Exactly.
Right.
Who's going to play at 9? Robson or Joe Simpson?
And then you've got Curtly Beer at 12, Elliot Daly 13. There's talk of Elliot Daly maybe playing 15. Eddie Jones wants him to play 15. Frank Halai on one wing, Christian Wade on the other. There's some exciting teams this year in the Premier
Rob
League.
Miller, he's serious counter-attacking fullback.
Quality
And then a couple of ones to finish up on. You got Ben Teo joining Worcester, and he obviously came over with the idea of potentially playing for England.
Yeah.
And as a Leicester fan, a big gain for Worcester because he's a serious talent.
Well, that's all about playing for England, isn't it? And the cash cow of that. He went on tour. There was chat he was going to get picked in that first test, wasn't there? I watched him play for Leinster last year a few times, and I'm glad I'm retired and don't have to play against him because a 10 normally has to get in the way of a 12, and he's a big, powerful boy, isn't he?
He really is.
I think he'll be brilliant at Worcester. Interesting, Dean Ryan leaving Worcester. I think Dean Ryan was a big pull for him to come over.
Mate, Worcester are going places. They've got a great setup there. They really have.
Yeah, so lots of signings, and also in the Pro 12, you got a few other big names.
know
who've,
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, this is. I should let you know. This is our Irish presenter.
This may go out in Ireland as well. So let's just name a couple of big signings. So Robbie Henshaw is probably the biggest one, who's moved over to Leinster.
Yeah.
And I feel, as a Leinster fan, I do feel a bit bad because Leinster tends to take some of the
All
big
the
talent.
yeah, McCarthy and then.
But having said that, Connacht also take a fair few back. So they've got a guy.
They were champions though. He's gone to a worse team, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
mate,
left
how
the
good,
champions.
how good are Connacht as well?
How good, and the brand of rugby they play.
Mate,
Matt Healy,
brilliant.
Tatiana O'Halloran.
Yeah, well, they've lost a lot of names as well. So AJ McGinty, their out half, is gone. But they've held on to probably the most talented player in the Pro 12 last season, Bundy.
Oh, Bundy Aki was amazing.
Once again, a Chiefs boy who just through and through. Unbelievable.
And that kind of brings us back to the conversation earlier on. He more than likely, unless he gets dragged back to New Zealand, will play for Ireland.
Yeah.
And if he was eligible now, he'd walk onto the team.
Yeah.
He's just.
How long's he got left to?
He's got another year.
Has he?
So yeah.
Is it the same 3-year thing, isn't it? Should be 5. I
Because he
said
was
it
in
earlier.
before, yeah.
But I heard Richie McCaw come out and say they were going to try and bring him back.
So Sonny
Mate,
Mills,
if I'm him, I'm saying I'm Irish.
Yeah.
absolutely 100%. You could get 50, 60 caps, and
Well, you learn
Sonny
more
Mills
It's
back
like
to Blues.
we go back to gym.
It's like gym. Yeah,
We
exactly.
generally go back to gym, and true story. We go back to gym talking about Scotland, and I remember we sat in Starbucks in Leicester. Do you remember?
Mine was a green tea. What was yours?
Mine was a double fat something, extra whipped cream. Yeah. And we sat there. And I remember you asked me about what you thought whether you should go and play. You had this offer to go and play for Scotland, and you looked through all your ancestry and found somewhere there was the tiniest bit of Scottish blood in you. And I said to you, look. You know, you said my dream's to play for England, though, Goody. I'm English till the
No,
cows
I
come home.
didn't.
I've got this
And I
tattoo.
said,
I can't get rid of it.
you've got to look at your career and where you can see yourself in 5 years. Can you see yourself being an England regular with the players ahead of you? Or can you see yourself going and being a Scotland regular because there's no other players? And it was
That's some good players,
and you had a
Marcus.
brilliant career
Yeah.
off the back of playing for Scotland as well, I think. So if you're Bundy Aki,
Absolutely.
play for Ireland, it'll be too tough to. You might go back to New Zealand and get a couple of caps, but he'd be a legend in Ireland, wouldn't he?
Well, he already is, especially in the rest of Ireland. He's a
There's
complete
not a
legend.
lot else going on down there.
Decent night out,
Dog
though.
racing, yeah, great night out.
Great night out.
And then briefly looking at France, a couple of English players, Dylan Armitage moved to newcomers Lyon, just come into the top 14, and also Stefan's moved on as well. So,
I don't know, weird that, eh?
Stephens is money, though, isn't he?
Money
He's
to
he's gone big money, 4-year deal.
Pose,
and everyone,
he's
Poe.
gone to Poe.
So I mean,
and-
Colin Slade and Conrad Smith are on ridiculous
but Carl,
amounts. of them,
Carl
aren't they?
Heyman's part of that.
Carl
Obviously,
Heyman's,
Carl
yeah,
Heyman's
was
the
at
forwards
Toulon.
coach there
Yeah.
now, and they play together at Toulon. Listen, you don't begrudge Stefan earning a massive contract because every player would have done the same thing. What I just fed up of hearing is Stefan should play for England because if he wanted to, come back.
It's always
And
the way,
he
isn't it?
had options to come back, but now he signed this deal, put it to bed. And fair play, credit to him. Take the money, play as well as you can.
And
He's
that's it.
a very good player.
He is, yeah.
There's so much money in France. It's just, I mean, you look at Montpellier as well, bringing in the likes of Joe Tamani, and Dodolo as well.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Actually, we touched on that earlier about English people having to get used to playing in France. It must be quite frustrating. I think Stefan did speak about this once. Basically, it's a rotational policy of week on, week off, because the winning rep ratio is something like 80% of home teams win. So they can change 15 players the whole time. For you, did you like it when you were given a rest? Or did you want to be the first name on the team sheet playing week in, week out?
I didn't really get a rest when I was at Brive, to be honest. I played a hell of a lot, and it ended up being. I remember my first year, so I broke into back into the England squad when Martin Johnson was the coach. Basically, Johnny was injured, and it was post.
Johnny who, sorry?
It was post Sips. Sips had played those 4 tests, and he'd mouthed off at someone, I think, or
Went
something.
to the Rebels. And
No, he was still there, but I think he told the coach to. We were on a camp in Portugal, and he told John Wells to do one, I think, and that just helped me get picked, I think. Anyway, it was obviously now you play for England, you looked after in that EPS agreement, and the EPS agreement was on then, but because there was a few of us playing in France, we'd go back and the fallow weeks we'd go back and play for Brive. And I remember Jono, we were on a pre-Six Nations camp in Portugal, and my Brive coaches said, you've got to be back on Wednesday. I'm like, well, I'm only going on Monday. It's there for the whole week. He said, you've got to be back on Wednesday because you're playing against Cast on Saturday. And Jono said, Martin Johnson's a coach. He looks at me, he said, if you want to play for England, you don't go back. I'm like, they pay my wages, Jono. What can you do? And you had to go IRB regs. And I played against Cast, and I've never played touch rugby so well in all my life. Just because I knew I was playing the next week for England. But that's the thing, it's a lot of its environments, and you see the best French environments now, the Clermont model, I know obviously they didn't win it, but the Clermont model of how they've changed things with Vern and Joe Smit when he was there as well, they've used a lot of influences from outside France to hype up the professionalism. Luckily, Brive weren't too professional, was they? Good time.
We've put a question out to our audience, to Facebook, to Twitter. We got a few fan questions in. I'm going to throw them at you. Okay?
Yep.
So, a simple one to start off with. Your finest or your proudest rugby moment?
That's a good question. There's I think everyone remembers their first cap, winning the Heineken Cup in 2001, playing for Leicester over in Paris. Starting that game at 21 years old was amazing. I suppose one of my best recent memories, our first game, being a Coventry City fan, playing for Wasps. We moved back to the Ricoh Arena to take over that, and I was lucky enough to play in the first game and break the Premiership record. Scored 33 points on our debut game there at Wasps, which luckily still stands even only a year or so later. And that was, towards the end of my career, to be able to do that and hold that record still, that was something that I still remember pretty well.
Very good.
Being a Coventry City fan.
Yeah.
You're a Coventry City fan, aren't you, Jim?
I used to live by the stadium.
Exactly.
Yeah, I used to go down there.
England, born and bred.
Take you from a high point to a slightly lower point. Most embarrassing rugby moment on a pitch?
Generally pulling on a tight shirt, I suppose.
Mate, surely it's got to be
how
like
much
the last bit in Newcastle, no?
How much stick
kept 'em
did
up,
you
didn't
get
I?
for the gloves? How much stick did you get for the opposition for the old stick?
No,
mates?
not a lot. It's more hair banter, I suppose.
Hair.
And most embarrassing moment on a rugby field. Jeez, there's been a few. You've had some stinkers. We've all played bad games. I remember one. I played for Leicester at Welford Road. We were unbeaten for God knows how long for Leicester, and we played against Gloucester. And Leon Lloyd, another kid from Cov who my mum taught, had just moved from Gloucester to Leicester. Sorry, just moved from Leicester to Gloucester. Anyway, I've chucked out this big pass. He's picked it. He's gone playing on the wing, picked it up, gone under the sticks. Gloucester win by about 4 points. It's down to me. That was fairly embarrassing. I've had a few. Just the way I look generally, I suppose. That'll do.
Well, then moving on to the social media side of things. You're pretty active on there and you've built up a bit of a persona. How has that happened, and what do you think has led to you becoming this kind of viral sensation and big hit online? Or are you aware of it, first of all?
In terms of what?
Well, in terms of being a bit of a hero.
I like a beer. I'm not, you see these chiselled athletes these days. And I suppose what it is, and especially the last 3 months at Newcastle, if you're the average looking rugby fan and you see someone that's in a similar shape to you,
You're telling me there's a chance?
That's exactly.
playing in the Premiership and at the ripe old age of 35, 36, whatever it was, you can probably relate to them a bit more than an absolute athlete like Jim, who only sips on protein shakes and really watches his nutrition. I've done it all with a smile on my face. I've done it my way. I've always had fun, and I had a beer along the way and trained hard when you need to train hard, which it wasn't that often, I don't think. But
I think
it's funny you say that about Goode. He does understate himself, but I remember in pre-season one day, and I'll just quickly tell the story because I think it's right in saying that we have a crack and we talk about the lid and we talk about the belly and the corona. But I remember we rocked up to pre-season. I think you might have come back 4 or 5 kgs heavier, and we were running up Bradgate Hill.
yeah.
And Cockers said, right, all the backs, get your shirts off. And I remember you stood next to Tom Vandale, who was built like...
Absolute athlete.
Yeah, like ripped to smithereens. And we must have been 5 or 6 runners into it. And we were watching the backs go. Mate, you were 200 metres in front of him.
I wouldn't say 200 metres.
You might have been 200 metres behind him, but you looked like you were in front of him. You were certainly up the hill. He might have been coming down and gone back up. You're always naturally fit, weren't you?
I had a bit of an engine. It was very well hidden by a bit of padding. But internet sensation, I don't know.
Getting there.
Like a beer.
After this.
Just like a beer.
Yeah. Do you find that when you go to a pub, people want to buy you a beer, or is it?
What's a pub? Listen, I have a bit of fun. I'll talk to anyone. I don't take myself too seriously. Some boys now, the game has gone hyper professional, hasn't it? And they have to take themselves very seriously. They have to take themselves out the limelight. Not so much limelight, but they don't go to a pub. They don't go and have a beer. They're really solely focused on training and eating the right thing, doing the right thing, sleeping the right thing. I couldn't have had my career that way because I'd have been dull as dishwater, and I wouldn't have done myself justice. I wouldn't have enjoyed it myself. So
I guess people come to expect something from you, a cult hero on social media, and a guy that has his banter and has his way about him. And people, when they see you in a pub or in a social setting, do they come up to you and sort of try and banter straight away with you and take the piss out of you, or
Like they know him?
Like they know you.
Some people do. Some people do.
Is it frustrating?
It's pitching at the right level, isn't it? I can tell if someone's having a laugh and trying to have a bit of fun with me, and someone who's generally just trying to be a dickhead. And if they've been a bit of a knobhead, you just don't give them the time of day. But if you've got someone trying to be funny and having a good laugh, I like a laugh. As you've seen, I don't take myself too seriously. If someone wants to buy me a beer and give me some hair chat, or waistline chat or anything.
Buy you a pie while they're at it.
Yeah,
You
just
let them know you
both.
scored 2,000 points and
There you go.
No, I don't, but
No, no.
I have. Yeah.
after a few corrects.
And on social media, just going back to that, what's the most random thing? I mean, in the past, you used to get fan mail as a celebrity or as a player. What's the most random thing you've been sent online? Or, who knows, maybe someone's actually found your address and sent you something.
So funny enough, you talk about pies and pints. So there's a picture from my time at Newcastle when
I saw it.
You made it, Jim.
it did make me laugh, and it's gone round and round and round thousands of times. Harry Mallender, I had the ball. We were trying to kill a bit of time inside our own in-goal area, and I'm literally stood right by the line. I stepped over it. Harry Mallender hits me. Obviously, my feet go from underneath me. I'm lying, trying to catch my breath
You
against
slipped. You slipped.
Well, he put a shoulder in. It's the only tackle he made all day, to be fair, so bless him. And I'm lying against the billboard, and the truth of the matter is, it looks like I'm trying to give Wayne Barnes, the referee, a bit of banter. I could not breathe. Couldn't get up, couldn't breathe, was knackered, enjoying the rest. Anyway, the next day, someone's photoshopped a picture, and it's amazing what you can do now, isn't it?
Oh, so good. So good.
I still haven't seen anyone Photoshop a picture of me with abs, but
We'll do
complete
it.
opposite. He's got me where I'm holding the ball on the floor, and he's photoshopped in a load of pies and a couple of beers in there, and it was brilliant. I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, you see some stuff like that all the time, but as long as you don't take yourself too seriously, it's good fun.
Good stuff. And then a couple of quick one-word answers. I don't know, you may not have seen it. Stephen Avery, innocent or guilty?
I've watched it. Yeah, he's innocent.
Innocent.
100%.
Correct.
100%.
Absolutely.
I'm
gonna say
And
innocent
announced
as well.
yesterday, making a whole new
Yeah.
series.
Are they?
Very exciting.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Apparently, the other side. Though. The other side.
And they're following the nephew. I feel that Brendan Dacey guy, he doesn't know.
Weird lad.
Right, he's still waiting for WrestleMania. So, and then the last one, I'm actually going to let you think about this one for a few minutes and I'll pass over to Ollie to ask Jim. But dinner and pints with 3 people of your choice, living or dead. Have a think about it.
Mull on that.
And
While
I'll pass over to Ollie.
Yeah, because earlier you said a bit of a softy, Jim, with your protein shakes. But actually, a guy on Twitter said, bloody hell, Jim Hamilton, isn't he the hard one with the tats? What does he listen to get fired up before a game? Your track, your go-to artist.
Braveheart.
On repeat.
I would love to say that it is like rock and roll and
Bieber, isn't it?
Yeah, but see, I can't even tell you what's in this thing now. So I'm on this Spotify thing, and there's this hot hits of like the week or something. I remember I was listening and had these headphones, Beats if you're listening, Beats by Dre.
Please sponsor us.
And so I left my headphones on the bench with my iPhone plugged in. These headphones are quite loud, and the referee came in and it was all quiet. And then I was on the other side of the room and I could hear the Zayn Malik's on Pillow Talk flying through my headphones. I was dying. I think that was before the semi-final. The semi-final was Europe.
Watching the video as well, just kissing Gigi Hadid.
Yeah,
just
like, literally, I was like, that ain't mine. That ain't mine. Marrow, that's yours.
I would just listen. And I went to dinner the other day. Actually, you were talking with Kelly Brown. I just listened to Kelly Brown sing Baywatch the whole time on repeat. He's got some lungs on him,
sick
doesn't
of
he?
that. Well, I think the thing is,
is that the thing?
this is the thing with Kelly, right?
Yeah,
so
let's
because
bitch on Kelly.
because he has a stammer. He has a stammer, like, and there's always that awkwardness, a bit uncomfortable when he's talking. It's the fact that he can sing a song without stammering that everyone's amazed and think this guy's got an incredible voice.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Gareth Gates, isn't it?
Yes, Gareth Gates. It's that whole
The
story.
King's Speech. We're doing a new film.
Well, there you go. But Gareth Gates is a rubbish singer, but because he had a stammer, everyone's like, wow, this guy's amazing.
And he had that thing with Jordan, didn't he?
Yeah,
Kelly done the same? Or?
And one of the great battles, Will Young and Gareth Gates battle. That was one of the great pop battles.
Yeah.
We've also got one for scariest opponent you've ever
Scariest
come
opponent?
across. Yeah.
I don't know.
Shabal?
Yeah, Shabal. He was a bit of bravado, though.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, just looked scary.
Who's put the hardest hit on you? You got up and felt that you thought, yeah.
You know
fair
what? When I was younger,
You're welcome.
When,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cheers.
Your nemesis.
Harry
mate.
Mallender.
Yeah. So Wilkinson. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I remember
I can
playing.
believe that.
Yeah, I remember playing at Leicester.
He belted me once.
He,
true.
broke one of my ribs.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, displaced fracture of my rib, and I just remember, like, I'm not known for me carrying. You know, I'm more known for, I don't know, turnovers, aerial ability. My carrying's never been my strongest point. But
Really?
Wilco smashed me at the side of a breakdown. I mean, he was there at guard. You're normally running at like the fatties and the people who, you know, just kind of grab you. But yeah, probably Wilkinson. But any time we played New Zealand, they were just incredible. We always lost by 50, so...
Just don't remember much of the game.
I touched Sonny Bill Williams once.
Really?
Yeah, I tackled
That was
him once,
there.
and he
nice.
offloaded out the back door, they scored, but...
Still touched him. Still touched him. Still
Yeah.
counts. And going completely off the field and completely left the field. What's the perfect Sunday night for Jim Hamilton?
Oh, see, this is the thing.
bottle of rosé.
No, my life's so different now. I've got 2 children. If, you know... and I don't watch much TV, to be honest with you. I walk the dog. I do like these celebrity jungles and stuff when that was on Big Brother. Like them, so I like watching
Love
the
Island?
trash
Love
TV.
Island?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Love Island.
No, Love Island fans, are we?
The thing is,
good.
I don't watch too much TV. I watch all the Attenborough stuff with the kids and keep up to date with the world and stuff like that. But just easy watch. Love Island, like you say.
Yeah, it's a good watch. You guys should
Anything,
get in it.
Really?
Anything,
Yeah, it's good.
you know,
The
you can
girls in the
talk-
office are just
Yeah.
every minute.
Anything that you can just pause, you can socially analyse people, and you just pause it, and you speak to the missus, and you go like, "Is this play on or is this not play on?" And you just find yourself like passing judgment the whole time.
Exactly.
I'm better than these people. So
Who would go on a show like that anyway?
Exactly.
You just sit there.
Danny Cipriani might be pretty good.
Are you saying you watched Love Island and said to your missus, "Is this play on?" Or we already?
Like it. Okay, but there's some of the great questions. We've got a fair few, so coming over the few weeks, we'll plough through those.
Yeah.
'Cause you're popular men.
And are we going to go back to Andy? Have you got your panel for dinner?
It's strong.
Dinner and points.
Was it 3?
3.
Well, if you want to add a few more, we can make an exception.
Mate, don't you say that one. If you've written that down and that's one of your people,
Oh, please. Give
Really?
it to us.
I've written Ian Botham because as a kid,
Beef.
as a kid he was a sporting hero and he loved a beer.
Yeah.
And we're talking beers, pints, food.
Absolutely.
He's a
how it
man from my own heart.
So you've never been in a dinner situation with him before?
I've been at dinners where he's been, but not where he's cutting loose and.
any good?
Any good?
Yeah, you've been to
I've
dinner.
met him a few- I've met
I
him a few times.
See him speaking stuff,
Yeah.
but as I say, you haven't got him without the mic and on the piss. I reckon
Yeah,
he'd still hold it pretty well.
I think Jason Manford would have to be there.
Good, yeah. good
Unbelievable comedian.
comedian.
It makes me laugh
Yeah.
brilliantly. Last one. Don't know, it's tough, isn't it? He put on the spot here.
Who was it said they like Barack Obama earlier? That was you, wasn't it, Jim?
Yeah,
Did it?
People like that
Don't know if it'll be at dinner though.
Yeah.
People like, you want fun, don't you?
Mate, I
want
think like
laughs.
DiCaprio. Like,
Oh, he'd have some
yeah.
stories, wouldn't he?
He
You
is
like,
a legend.
yeah.
like, I'm just going on Wolf of Wall Street. That's why.
He can come in character.
Yeah,
He can come in
yeah,
character.
exactly.
I'm not leaving, just all night. Just
I'm not going leaving.
That's all. Can you actually just do the whole film for 2 hours? We'll sit here.
Well, you can have DiCaprio and Dan Bilzerian as well.
I
That
don't
could be
like
perfect.
Bilzerian. He's done nothing. He's just rich.
Yeah, I agree. He's done a bit of poker.
Rich with loads of birds. You know that one, did you?
Yeah.
You've got one.
You never know after this show, mate.
Yeah,
It
there
might be
we
all
go.
coming my way.
I imagine so.
Everyone be waiting outside for us. Mate.
We sent the tweet out just letting them know, so I'm sure they will be. And one more from you then, Jim. Final person. Who are we having?
Well, I said DiCaprio. What, as in for...
Dinner. For dinner, steak, sort of steak,
Beers.
curries, beers, the whole
You
works.
can skip dinner if
Steak
you want.
and curry.
Steak and curry, yeah, starter. Steak curry.
I'm hungry now. Look, we're
I
getting
know,
that
about
in.
to say.
Yeah, go on, you have a little talk, Goody.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Well, I want to say it right.
Yeah, you do.
Because, to be fair, and it's quite a somber thing, actually. I got asked this years ago, and I read Paul Gascoigne's book,
Yeah.
and I said I would have loved to, hear some of the stories, because some of the myth stories that you hear
Yeah,
about him and stuff
Gazza and
like
his
that.
pomp, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't have Gaza now, obviously.
Mate,
Yeah.
what a shame. What a shame. Let me have a think. And
Okay.
I'm going
So
to say...
what, Ian Botham in his pomp would have been. That's why.
Ian Botham, I ain't going
Stories
to
that,
Ian Botham,
mate, the stories that Boss would have come out with would have been phenomenal. Touring stories.
Those days. David Boone with his 56 pints on the
Yeah.
plane and stuff. That's
Yeah.
some serious
Yeah.
achievements, isn't
I was
it?
born in the wrong era, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I'd like to hang around with Beckham for the day. I don't know whether I want to sit
You just
with him.
compare tats, so you'd be topless, wouldn't you? I've got that
Oh, I
one.
don't know
It's
if I don't know
like
if it'd be
Rolling around
topless.
in your
Yeah, just maybe I wouldn't want his life, but it'd be interesting to see.
You wouldn't want his life.
you wouldn't want his life.
Come on, mate.
Yeah. Beck,
He
turn
doesn't
your ears
have to
off,
kill
turn your ears
rabbits.
off. Yes, I would. Yes.
And then DiCaprio, that just made me think of one more question for you, or both of you. If someone had to play you in a film,
Oh yeah.
who is it? Who's gonna get the lead role?
Do you know, I've never been asked that question.
Seth Rogen.
Yours would be James Corden.
Well, you could just go DiCaprio.
James Corden, he's a bit slimmer than me, so
Gerard Butler.
Yeah. Oh.
So someone told me I look like Gerard
Yeah.
a couple
Oh
of
my
times.
God, Jim,
yeah,
you're dreaming,
I
mate.
In 300 as well.
Mate, no, it's Captain Haddock, isn't it? We're going back to
okay, yeah.
Captain
Oh,
Haddock.
you are dreaming. I'm not a massive movie buff, so I'm trying to think of.
John Travolta. He's got a bit of a dab on him. He's got a better lid though.
Has he? Yeah.
An underdog who's loved by everyone. We can throw that out to Twitter. Who would play Andy
There we go.
Good
Send it out there.
That'd
in
be
the
a great question.
film?
Let's
There
put
we
that
go.
out.
That'll be out there. I'm sure we'll get some.
Seth Rogen.
Oh, actually, yeah, Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
I like-
Will Ferrell.
There we go.
Oh, man, what a
There's
compliment.
my one.
Yeah.
That I'd look. Oh,
Well, we've just got the perfect combo.
Seth Rogen and Will Ferrell.
That is the ultimate aim of the Rugby Pod, is to get the two of them in here and do a joint podcast with the four of
You
you.
never know. Let's see if it grows.
Exactly.
They'll have to audition for the role first.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Well, that
All
was
right.
pretty
Well,
much
thank you
us.
very much, everyone. Thank you for coming along.
Yeah.
the opening Rugby Pod podcast. And thank you very much, Andy, for coming along. You've been a
Thanks for
pleasure.
having me.
Big Jim, you've done well.
Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at Jim Hamilton. For I need more followers. I'm not going to buy any.
Yeah.
So.
Who has the most Twitter followers?
Guess how many you've got, and then we'll see who's out the most. So we've got the numbers here.
I don't want to guess. I know what I've got, but I'm going to say a different number. So
So I don't look so vain.
I think I'm on about 29,000, I think.
21,000. I've got some good people following me though.
Have you?
Who's the best
Go on,
person
name
you've
drop.
got? Go on.
J.K. Rowling. She's got the most.
Oh, this is because of the Potter.
Yeah,
What
we've
was
had
it? What
tea.
happened
We've
then?
had tea together.
Go on,
We've
what
had
happened?
Yeah.
What happened? I didn't hear the story.
Yeah, so basically, I know we're at the end of the show, but yeah.
No, we've got time for this.
Okay, so
J.K. Rowling.
basically, she was watching a Scotland game. I think she felt sorry for us, and then she saw some guy running around like Hagrid, not doing a lot. But I think she liked the way that I got stuck in. So
Yeah.
She wrote a blog that goes out in America, which is massive. Like millions of people follow this blog, and someone sent it to me. And I'm not a massive Harry Potter fan, but I read the blog anyway because obviously someone sent me. And she likened me to
Hagrid.
Martin
Wow.
Bayfield.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so I just tweeted her, thank you very much. She followed me, and the rest is history. She's been to a few games. She's now a Saracens fan.
Oh, wow.
We're Bezzies, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are you in
She
the
said
next-
she's going to put me in. She said she's going to put me in the film. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Did she actually
Joe?
say that?
Joe, if you're listening,
Which she
I'm still
obviously
waiting.
is. Can we just say how scarily accurate? You said 21,000, 21.8. And Andy went for 29,000, 28.9.
Yeah,
You are-
we know how many
You've got.
I was hoping I'd just hit the 29,000. Maybe I will.
Sorry,
later
by the end of
tonight
this,
after
exactly. That's it.
All right, well,
Yeah.
thank you very much for listening in, and thank you very much for coming again, guys. Fred and Ollie, thank you very much as well, and we'll see you in the next round.